Hello, welcome to another video. As you can tell, I'm going to be commentating on this. So basically, I'm going to give my predictions on where the F1 teams are going to stand into the 2020 season. So I think last place will be Haas, but I don't think they'll be that far off. They'll be quite close to the midfield, but I'm going to split the midfield into two parts, and I think Haas is going to be last. Just from they didn't come out the best in last season. This season they're looking okay, but yeah, I just feel like I'll just put them. I feel like they might not. They're not really going to be at the very top of the midfield, but they'll get. I feel like they'll get points, but just finish last though. Next up, I'm going to put Williams. They've improved quite a lot compared to last season, where they didn't even they got the car ready on the third day. They didn't even have the car ready on the first 2 days. This season they were the first car out, and they're looking promising. And they're not going to be like that back marker that could even get close to 18th at some points. Or 1 second off the next car in front. They're looking good. It's looking promising for them. Even if they do have one driver who's only in his second year and one who's a rookie, I feel like they can get points, but not always on a regular basis. But they won't. But they'll be in the mix. They won't be like last season where they were so far off, and they only got 1 point, but that was because the Alfa Romeo's got penalties in Germany because of something they did. But yeah. In eighth, I'm going to put Alfa Romeo. And so they've been looking quick, but they're the quickest. But they've been pretty good on low fuel ones, when the rest aren't really. So, but I think they're going to be eighth. Just in my opinion, I think that they're not really going to be the high, the very top midfield, best of the rest. But they're going to be in that midfield part, and got one experienced driver and one in his second full year. So they can get points, but as I said, for winners, not really on a regular basis, but sometimes they might get something 3 races in a row and stuff. But yeah, it looks more. I feel like in qualifying they're going to be they might be better car in qualifying there in the race, or maybe that's just from what I think. But not that testing tells us so much, because sometimes teams do other things. But yeah, from what I've seen, I think they're going to be good in the short run paces, and not they're going to be decent in the long run, but maybe not where they might have been in the short run. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. As you can see, we've also got over a total of over 1,000 views, which is good. And now let's get the subscribing rate up. In seventh, I would put AlphaTauri. For me, I wouldn't put AlphaTauri at the very front of the midfield or at the very back of the midfield. I feel like they're more of a in the middle bit of the midfield, because there are loads of cars in the midfield. We don't really have a proper back markers. Although Williams kind of were back markers last season, but this season I think it's going to be different. So this is where I put AlphaTauri seventh. I feel like then in front of them there'll be a little bit of a gap, but not that much. A little bit, but they can still compete. It's not going to be as big as I don't know, last season. Red Bull to McLaren, the top three, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull to McLaren, and the rest of the midfield. Yeah, I like the car as well. It's quite good. And like I said before, it's not got anything to do with the car, the way it looks. It's the way it performs. Next up, on six, I'll put Renault. As you can see, they've got a few changes, and quite a few obvious visible changes. Like the nose is slimmer. I think that now there's going to be gap from AlphaTauri to Renault, and then the rest in front. Renault will be batting with them, but I'll say who's fifth, fourth, and then It's quite nice. Kind of looks like they're going to be quite strong, but yeah, I would say points, consistent points, just maybe not high enough points. Like last season, where they sometimes got points and sometimes reliability problems. I wouldn't say it's going to be the same. It might be similar, like how many points they get. Well, they could get maybe they might get more. I think they're going to improve a bit more from last season, as in getting more points, but as in position wise, I think they'll be sixth. From this free throw, you can tell the obvious difference. That's the one on the right is from the last season's car, and the one on the left is this season's car. You can see the nose is a lot slimmer. So in fifth place, I'd put McLaren. I know last season they were fourth, and they're still looking quite promising. And well, from the testing, we haven't really seen much of them, but that's what they normally do. I think they're going to be fifth though, but they're still going to get points, and who knows, they might get a podium if crazy happens like Brazil last season. But if they do get a podium, I would only go for one. And I don't think they're like they don't have the pace for the front. They don't have the pace like the front runners, I would say. But they'll have the pace to battle and even lead the midfield. And some maybe just maybe they could have a little bit of competition, but I wouldn't say there's much. Now fourth, I'm definitely gonna give it to Racing Point or the pink Mercedes. That image doesn't look like, but the one they actually brought to testing, it looks a lot like the Mercedes from last season, especially like the nose. Um, I think they're gonna be fourth. They're gonna bust the midfield, and they might even challenge like the Red Bulls and possibly Ferraris for like podiums and like tracks that will suit them. Probably like Azerbaijan, power tracks because they've got a Mercedes engine. Yeah, he can. It's like many people say it's like the Mercedes from last season. It is, but not like a complete copy. And I would definitely put it for them to get a podium or two. They can battle for podiums, but not like a consistent basis. But I'm gonna have Racing Point, McLaren and Renault. They're in midfield battle. Then the ones behind, but it'll still be close. But then sometimes might just be a little gap. So yeah, I think they'll get fourth and maybe probably by far. And yeah. Okay, this one was a tough one, but third I'm gonna give it to Red Bull. But I'm not gonna say that way off the pace. I think it's gonna be very very close to top three, very very close. And also with the amount of race, the little amount, there are only like 12 races. I'm not sure. I need to check, but like there are not as many races as there would be because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think Red Bull overall come third in this, as and yeah, they got the third best car, but it's very very close. I think it's gonna be very very close this season from first to third. Like it's gonna be separated by only like 2/10 or something like that. Not like first, third, like half a second or 9/10 or something. Yeah, I think it's gonna be very close, and there's no room for error. And you can see also Red Bull go with that slim nose design. It's starting to become a bit of a trend. Like some teams will revert into that. Like McLaren are going with slim, so Renault, so Racing Point. They've like copying like what the Mercedes did. But yeah, I'm gonna put Red Bull third.
Second, I'm going to say is Ferrari. Even though they haven't really been showing much of their true pace, they've probably been focusing on long run, heavy fuel. I think they're going to be in the front, in the mix, though. I think it's going to be very, very close. It's hard to tell, though, until we get to round 1, which is Austria in July. This season, they've been focusing a lot more on downforce compared to last season when they were focusing on straight line speed. And they realized the problem was that they weren't going fast enough in the corners and they were struggling through the corners, which is quite obvious. If you focus more on straight line speed, you're going to lose out in the corners. This time, they might lose on the straights, but they still got a good engine. So why not focus more on cornering speeds? And they are quick through the corners, from what I've heard
from testing.
But it's going to be very, very close. Don't really know until we get to round 1. But I have confidence in the team, and they said they're going to learn from their mistakes. Hopefully they do, though. Now first, I'm going to put Mercedes, but as I said before, it's going to be very, very close. Now, loads of people have heard of, if you've been watching F1, loads of people have heard of, you would know that. So for the Mercedes, not Ferrari, Mercedes have this DAS system, DAS, dual axis steering, which is basically where the driver can pull the steering wheel and change the toe of the car. Toe is basically the angle of the front wheels, front tires. Toe in is when they're pointing towards each other, toe out is when they're pointing away from each other. And it can help in getting better tire temperature and getting better straight line speed, because the air will pass quicker. So it's only going to help a little bit from what I've heard, and it's not going to be allowed from 2021 onwards. And even though their times, they've been half a second quicker than some of their rivals, I think they're just probably trying to push a bit more. Their rivals just aren't pushing as much. So I think it's going to be very, very close, and with less races, each race is going to be even more important. So for the other teams to beat Mercedes, they can have to be consistent, a lot more consistent. As in, when I say other teams, I mean Mercedes. I mean Ferrari and Red Bull. So they're going to have to be consistent even more. It's going to rattle even more, and I think they can, but that's if they just keep the development race on track and beat them on track. Well, I think that's it for this video.
Hopefully it made sense to you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.